All right, Kevin, we talked on the phone. You mentioned that you wanted to talk about some ways of helping you with your rugby performance.
Yep.
So why don't you tell me a little bit more about, whatever you think I would need to know, but about to understand what is it that you want to do, where you're coming from. But before we start, let me just, for one moment, explain just a couple of things to you. One, obviously, you asked me for some things about sports psychology, and that is what I do. But I am a psychologist, a licensed psychologist, and so there are some rules that I'm bound by that I really would like to just go over briefly. One of them is that what you and I talk is confidential. Mm-hmm. So let's suppose that your coach wanted to know something, I cannot tell them unless you very specifically agree that I can say, and what is it that I can talk about. Okay. And because it's both an ethical and a legal issue, there are, by law, some instances where confidentiality is not respected. So if I thought that someone is a danger to themselves or a danger to others, or are instances of child or elder abuse, those things by law, I would have to break confidentiality. So that's just one setup. The other one, since we've talked on the phone, you've already noticed that I have an accent. So sometimes I may either ask you to repeat something, and maybe more often than not, you may not get exactly what I've said because I mispronounced something. So I know I do this, so feel free to just ask me what was that, and I'll try to repeat it.
Okay,
so
great.
Okay, I was born in Spain, so that's why I have an accent. Finally, the last little piece is that I just want to give you a brief idea of how I work. And to me, to be a good performer in sport, you obviously need physical skills. You need to train those. You need technical skills. Mm-hmm. You also need psychological skills. And to me, those are exactly that, skills. The same way that you train strength and flexibility, I think you can train concentration, and you can train a way of managing your emotions. So I see those as trainable skills. By that I mean you have to train them. So what's more important is not so much what you and I talk about here, but probably what you do in between the times we talk.
Okay.
And I'm very likely to ask you to practice certain things. But we'll decide those things jointly, obviously. I'm not going to just tell you, okay, do this. We're going to figure out, this is a joint venture. Okay. So I have one piece of expertise, but you're the expert on you. So it's got to work jointly, or I don't think we would get. I definitely would not play rugby for you. So it's going to be something that we're going to decide together. And obviously, being an athlete is the piece that we're going to start talking about. But I may ask you about other parts that don't have necessarily to do with the sport, because I think that if the rest of the person, something is kind of off, sometimes the athlete doesn't do very well. So just so that you kind of know where I'm coming from. So after this kind of lengthy introduction, well, then you now tell me about you, whatever you think is important, is relevant, and then maybe I'll ask you specific things.
Well, I came to you because at this point I've been playing rugby for about, I'd say 10, 12 years, beginning in college.